Hey guys, welcome to Cosplay Life. I'm Air Bear, and today I'm going to be going over my Hades cosplay. So when I made the cosplay, I didn't record or take pictures while I was doing it, so I'm just going to talk through what I did, and hopefully I remember everything, but this is probably going to need to be broken down into several videos, so I'm going to just go over overall everything. And then I'm probably going to have a separate video for the wig, or like showing how to style the wig, and probably a separate video for the makeup, like doing the makeup while I'm live. So anywho, this is only our second time doing a live, so if you have any comments or questions while I'm going through things, be sure to leave those in the comment section. I have somebody who is watching those, my husband.
Hello.
And he also may need to grab things for me because there was a lot involved in this costume. So we are going to start off with the top, which I finally did lights. So this is the crown. And then this was the only version of lights I could figure out because I was trying to figure out some sort of LED, another sort of LED situation, but this was all I could get. And this, like, I didn't have to figure out how to wire up lighting for this. So I just bought these lights from Amazon. I don't remember the code or anything. Oh, whoops, apparently it's glued in. So I'm just gonna show it to you. It just comes, it's blue, and it just comes like on a string like this, or not a string, but it comes with like a sticky back, and it's kind of flexible, but it can't really bend that much, which kind of dictated what I could do with it. So I have it glued or taped to this 5mm thick craft foam that's like the diameter of my head, where I wanted the crown to sit, and then I just taped it going, or removed the sticky tape on the back and just taped it going around all the way. And then it comes with this little battery pack, kind of reminds me of like the Christmas tree thing, and it has batteries, or I brought batteries, and I also bought extra batteries to bring with me. And it has, I guess, 8 different light settings, 9 including off. So this is the kind of combination, which I don't think this is what I used. This was in a wave, sequential, which I did not use, slow glow, this is what I wanted, but I wanted it more staggered, not all of the lights going on and off at the same time. Oh, you're turning off the light so you can see. Chasing, which is, I think this is probably what I used maybe. Slow fade, where they all fade on and off. Oh, this is probably what I used. This is twinkle flash, and then steady on. When I was taking pictures, I left it on this. So yeah, that is the lights. Actually, I'll leave them steady on. Okay, yeah. So they're steady on now, so you can kind of see. And and you can turn the lights back on if it gets too dark.
Okay.
Cool. So what I used is the 5mm thick craft foam, and then underneath that I cut out, we bought some HD foam. I bought that a while ago, and I just did some like test sprays on it to see what it showed up as. But that is what the white part of the crown, and it's foam that is made to diffuse light, so it's actually made for LED lights. You can't really heat form it or Dremel it, I've discovered. I mean, I guess you can Dremel it a little bit, but it's softer and it's easier to scratch. So that is the HD foam. And then I didn't like the way it looked with just that, so I made this sort of material, and I thought about what I wanted, and what I wanted was it to look like a jail. Like I wanted it to remind me of a jail because this whole cosplay is for Hades. And I was kind of thinking like being stuck in Hades, being stuck in a jail. I wanted everything to be like really metallic. Oh yeah, he's also like the god of metals, I think, or precious metals. So I wanted everything to be like dark and heavy sort of feel. Kind of. Well, I wanted the crown to kind of feel like that. I wanted it to, jail. And so what I did, I used a technique that I actually used on, what's the name of that? Taka. I used the same technique that I used on Taka, which is this, where I had craft foam, and then I took a piece of napkin, and then if you take napkin, you can like separate, like it's usually 2-ply, so you can separate the layers of napkin. And I did Mod Podge just all over, and then I glued the, and.
I'm sorry. Okay, all right.
So I took the, I forgot what I was saying. I took the Mod Podge and I glued it on there. And I believe, yeah, I did. I used the gloss finish because I wanted it to be shiny. So I took the Mod Podge and I glued the tissue on. And this one, I tried some different techniques because I wasn't sure what I wanted. Like this one, I just tried it just laying the tissue directly onto the foam. But then I discovered that I wanted the texture a little bit. So I kind of balled it up and wrinkled it and let it kind of form its folds. So that's what that is down there. The texture of the tissue. And then I just went back over that with more Mod Podge to give it a glossy finish and to kind of just make sure it's on there and stable. So what I did after that is we spray painted the whole thing black. And then I went back over it with a metallic silver paint. And with that, I just did dry brushing. Like I think I even put it on a sponge. And I just kind of like moved the sponge across so that it just touched the high up points. Because I only wanted the metallic part. I didn't want the whole thing silver. Which if you look here, like some of it, the whole thing kind of got silver, which is why this piece wasn't used. But like I just wanted these raised ridges. I think those are called ridges. They're not valleys. The raised ridges to get the paint. So this side doesn't have any of the silver paint on it. This side does have a silver paint on it. So I did that with it, and then I cut it out using like the template that I made to make the crown. And then I ended up having, well, it ended up not fitting. And I also wanted the crown, like there's a couple of places if you look closely where it wasn't fitting right. And I wanted the triangles to be seamless, and of course that didn't work. But from afar, like a lot of things of cosplay from afar, it's better than when you're looking up close, because no one's going to be that close to you, like examining your cosplay, unless you're doing competition. And this was not for competition, so I didn't care that. Well, I mean, I did care in the moment, but it was okay that like there's this gap here. So I cut it out. I cut these triangles because I wanted something where I could see through it in order to see the lights that were underneath. And then I did triangles because that's the same pattern that was on my leotard. And then for the, let me pull it back out. Gosh, this is a long cosplay. For this part, I can't pull it out. For the HD foam, I spray painted it so that the tips of it were a darker blue than the bottom of it. And then on top of that, I did black rhinestones on there. And then I found like these cool rhinestones that matched my cosplay. And I put matched this sort of material, match that material on my leotard. I did that. And what I actually ended up doing is going to Hobby Lobby and I went when they had jewelry and rhinestones on sale, and I just bought a whole bunch of jewelry, beads, and things that were this color or silver or black. And I took all of that and I made accessories based on what I had. So that is the crown, which was quite a lot. Oh, and then so this is the reason why I did not like doing it this way, because I didn't like this big battery pack, and I couldn't figure out how to like attach it to the crown, and it wouldn't balance on top of my head. So I ended up having to put the crown on and then stick the wire through my wig. Like, it didn't go through the wig, but like I just hid it in my wig, and then I think I stuffed it, like I dropped it down here and I held it in my bra. So that was how I held that, and then I could just push the button in order to get the lights. I just had to remember what light setting I was previously on. I don't know how long the lights will stay on, so we'll see. All right, going down from there is the wig, which I'm not going to go into great detail about it because it's a little bit much to be able to go over all of it. Also, it's really matted because I haven't washed it since I wore it. So this was like all day curls matted up. So I started off similar to Rena Rouge. I did this wig first, and then I did Rena Rouge after seeing that I could do it. So same as Rena Rouge, I started off with a white wig. This one I did first, so I took my time a little bit more with it. And it had better bangs. I wanted the layers. Well, I thought it was going to make a difference. It probably does a little bit. But like, I separated out the layers in the wig. I forget what texture it was before. I think it was wavy. I didn't realize that when you heat these wigs up, like when you when you put them in boiling water in order to dye them, that they lose their texture. So it doesn't really matter what texture you get. It more matters how much hair is on the wig and the length of the wig and the bangs, like the length of the bangs. That's more what you want to pay attention to if you are going to be dyeing wigs like this. So I took the different layers and I put them into rubber bands so that I could try to get the layers to go ombre from dark blue to white. So I think there were about like 3 or 5 layers. 3 or 5, that's a lot. I think there were about 3 or 4 layers in here as far as where the hair ends. It looks much better when it's combed out. Now it just kind of looks matted. Anyhow, I did the same whole dyeing process with like getting a big vat of water, and then I actually started off with this teal color, which didn't really turn out very teal, but that's that in-between color. And I dyed the whole wig in that except for the tips, which this wig is actually bluer than I wanted it to be because of issues. But it's okay. It looks okay now. So I dyed the whole wig except for the tips, this light blue color. And then I poured this into the dye bath. I poured a whole lot of it in there. And you have to use synthetic dye because the wigs are synthetic. So I poured this into the dye bath, and then I did the same thing with dipping it upside down. So holding the little ends that were in ponytails. Are you falling asleep?
No. Is the correct answer.
And then I dipped it in there, or dipped it in the water upside down. And yeah, that's it. So then I restyled it using curl formers, and I restyled the wig. Or I redid the bangs, which that's going to be a tutorial all in itself. But I wanted the bangs to sit up and off my forehead. They've fallen now, but they were doing it. And that's the wig. And for the wig, I ended up realizing that I liked it like all on one shoulder. And it was on the shoulder that my other stuff was not on. And the wig matches the crown with being blue and all of that. Okay. All right. And then working our way down from the wig. Oh, let me show you. So this was the picture that I drew before I ever had all of this together. This is what I knew that I wanted. So I wanted the wig to actually be wavier than that. I couldn't figure out how to get it wavy, so I just made it curly. I think it's fine. So yeah, working my way down, the next piece would be this. Oh, but I can't take it off with that. Maybe I should do that next. Okay, I will do this next. All right, so next we're gonna actually do my bident. So for the bident, I drew a picture of that as well. I don't have that in there. But I did some research about like different bidents, and I figured out what I wanted on mine. The main thing is that I wanted two hooks, or not two hooks, but two pointy thingies on the tip of it. This is, I called the other foam HD foam, but it's not. It's, I don't know what type of foam it is. It's a specific foam for diffusing light. I'll have to figure out what that is. So with this, it's like a high density foam because it's really thick. Did that, made my template, cut it out, and then I dremeled it to make it sharp looking on the ends. And the skulls. So all the skulls, there's a skull here, there's a skull hidden in there, and then there's a skull on either side of this. All the skulls are made the same way, they're just different sizes. These two are the same size, and then these two are the same size. And with the skulls, I wanted them to be similar to Hades, like the Disney Hades, his skull, but I didn't want it to be exactly like it. I wanted it to be a little bit more realistic. However, I've never used foam clay, and I've never did sculpting and all of that. So I was basically just testing all of that out. So what I started off with is I printed a picture, which I may need to do a more like an example of this, but I don't even know if I can recreate it. I printed off a picture of a skull, and I resized it to the size that I wanted, and then I used that to make like a base, which I made out of 2mm thick craft foam. I left my craft foam over there. And then I took the craft foam, cut slits into it to kind of form like a curve. And I cut the eye holes out and the nose holes out. Then on top of that, I put air dry foam clay. I got this, well actually, my mother got this for me from Hobby Lobby. So I used foam clay, and I've used foam clay before. I wish we could like insert a clip of the last time I was using foam clay, because it was with the shells.
I remember.
Ariel. It was with Ariel, and I wanted to make a shell. So like the foam clay is so sticky, and I didn't know it was gonna be so sticky, and it stuck all over my hands. I couldn't get it off. I couldn't get it like to form the shape, and I eventually just threw it out and was like, well, we're not doing foam clay. And I think I ended up carving, because I know how to Dremel something. I can Dremel a thick piece of foam into the shape I needed. I could not form the clay into what I needed. So I tried foam clay again, and this time I was much more successful. Woo! So I put the pieces on, and you have to kind of wet it. I should do like a foam clay demonstration, especially since I'm not a professional with foam clay. I feel like a lot of people who you see use foam clay online are like super good, and they're like, they have like artistry backgrounds, and they know how to carve and do all that stuff. I don't have all the tools that they have. I was just trying to like just make something work. So did foam clay, got this on there. I don't really like the bottom part because I wanted some sort of lines to kind of denote or be similar to what Hades has, because his little thing has like little lines, like it's the top of a skull and then it has like 3 teeth or something. I wanted something like that, but when I tried to cut into the foam clay, it didn't show up right. And I was like, scratch it. And I scratched it on all 4 of the skulls. So that's the skulls. I attached them to there, and then weathered it and all of that, spray painted it. And then there is a block of foam in there that we, I think, hot glued to the, trying to see what we did. I think we hot glued it to the PVC pipe and then stuck, oh, I stuck needles into the bottom. Or did you stick needles into the bottom? One of us. There's needles in the bottom of these roses, and we stabbed the roses into the foam, that's the foam block down here, and then hot glued those into place. But one of them falls out. I don't know which one it is. But those are the flowers. And then I found those flowers at Hobby Lobby. Like, they were the perfect color. I got them before I even dyed the wig. And I was like, this is going to be perfect. So that is, but except for they're the reverse color. Like, the inside of them is light blue and then they're dark blue on the outside. I needed them to be the other way, but I think it works out. And then I bought some, again, when there was a jewelry sale, I bought a whole spool of silver, dark silver chain from Hobby Lobby, and I attached gems and beads using different pieces of earrings for the metallic, or like for the connector pieces, and then I strung up beads, the beads that I bought from Hobby Lobby, because I wanted it to be dangly and droopy and have stuff hanging off of it. I probably would like more chains, but I always try to tell myself that I need to do less, and I wanted like some lace on here. It might be something that we work on and make more later. So now I can go back to this. This is made the same way. It has some little gems hanging off of the bottom of it, and it has a silver chain connected from here to the back. And then there's just a safety pin, like brooch. You can find those at Hobby Lobby, glued to the back. Again, jewelry sale. You go when they have jewelry, then you get a whole bunch of things for your different cosplays. So that is that. I feel like I should go over all the jewelry at once. That's the brooch, which Hades has a brooch as well. And then I think I drew this in my picture, so I figured I would put it. Yep, I did draw it in the picture. I drew it in the picture. I didn't have necklaces. I couldn't figure that out. But I used another piece of this and just cut out a long rectangle or a long band. And it just stretches over and fits on my wrist or my bicep. And it has like an elastic connector so that it can stretch apart. And again, it has chains and beads that are attached to it to add to it. And then moving down, oh, I forgot to get the pattern. Can you get my pattern book for me? Mm-hmm. It's the black book over there. Thank you. So moving down, I have the dress, which for the dress I use, I almost fell out the back of the seat.
Glad you didn't.
Me too. Let's see, the dress, the formal wear. Are there any questions or anything? Okay.
No, not yet.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So for the dress or the overdress, I use this pattern, that one, and I use black chiffon, which I got on sale from Hobby Lobby. Not Hobby Lobby, Joann's. And I already had the pattern. And I altered the pattern. It's supposed to have like 2 shoulders and sleeves. I didn't do the sleeves, and I only did one of the shoulders. And then the bottom of it, I ended up gathering the bottom of it more so that I could put 2 slits in it, there and there. That's actually one thing that's not in the original picture, because I did originally make this with just 1 slit, and I didn't think it looked good. It looked better with 2 slits. So you can see my legs, which will be important later. But yeah, those are the slits. So that was the dress. And then at the top of it, there's this trim, which I found this at Hobby Lobby. Got that when it was, I think, fairly sure I got that when there was a sale on trim. And I got it because it looked kind of Greek to me. So I hot glued that in place. And I washed it and it seems to be fine. I washed it in the wash machine and then I hung it to dry. And then working my way, I guess still here, the leotard. The leotard was the first piece I made because it was the part that I was like most worried about. Actually, the wig was the part I was most worried about. But I thought this was going to be the most difficult. So for the leotard, I found a pattern online, which I don't even think I have it in there. I found a pattern online for a basic leotard. So I made the basic leotard, and similar to Rena Rouge, made the leotard, and then I marked the line of where I wanted the border to go. So I cut that away, separated the pattern, cut that out of this other material that's like, if you go to Joann's, you'll find it. It's just this like metallic-y material, this iridescent, it's kind of purple and blue. Cut that out and left a little bit of edge on there so that I could sew the pieces back together. And then I made a whole bunch of this trim, which, if you know how to sew, it's just, you just take a piece of fabric, I think it's probably about 1.5 inches wide, sew it down, turn it so that it is right side out, and then just sewed it down in order to make these triangles. And there was a lot of measuring involved. Well, not measuring, more just like folding things in half and making sure they lined up, even though it doesn't matter because you can't see that it's even. But the bottom is even, the top is not. So did that, and then I reattached all of it and sewed it all back together. I feel like I need to do a video of doing that because for a long time for me, that was something that I was hung up on, was trying to do costumes that have 2 pieces of fabric put together. How to do that. And I feel like I have a pretty good idea of how to do that now. So that's the leotard. And I made a border to go around the edge of it. The border on the top is different than the border on the bottom. And I actually did the top of it like several months before I did the bottom of it. So I actually increased in skills because the top of it is all stretched out, but the bottom of it fits. Because I made a whole bunch more things on the serger in between doing the top and the bottom. So yeah, even like within a couple of months, if you just practice with stuff, you'll get better. So that is the leotard and the, oh, thank you. That's the leotard and the chiffon over cover thing. I can turn this off because you won't be able to see it. Okay, and then the next thing is the belt, which this belt, I'm going to try to move her closer. Doesn't seem any closer. Hopefully she doesn't fall off. Okay, so the belt is, I'm fairly sure that came from Joann's, and it's just a silver. It's just a silver. Actually, I'll take it off because it'll be easier to see. And I can show you how it attaches as well. Whoa. Okay. All right, you've got to move. All right. So for the belt, it was just this silver sort of belting material that you can get in the trim section. And then I glued that same trim that is up here to the middle of it, hot glued. Then I put Velcro on it in order to attach it. And then I did these chains, which I attached with string. This is just black string and fabric hot glue. So I put the string in the chain, and I also did that with the beads And I just measured it to make sure they go in between each other and alternate. And the beads are random. It's not a pattern or anything. So the beads, I bought this set of beads because it matched my wig. And that is the belt. Some of the belt. So I made it so that it was completely removable from this piece. I also made it so that if I gained weight or lost weight, I could just adjust it so that it wasn't fixed. But I really don't want to take that off. So for this part, this is, okay, yeah, see, they're just flowers. So for this part, this is another skull. This was the ugliest skull where I tried to make the teeth, but because I knew it was going to be covered up with flowers, I left it. And then this is the foam on the back so I could attach stuff to it. So I used this, it's just fabric, fake leather that I had left over, some excess, what's that called? Scraps. And I got some D-rings in order to attach it. And I just contact cemented it on there. And then in order to put it on, you just wrap it around. Stick it in there. And then try to get it as tight as you can before you move it over. And you put it in place. And jab that back in there. And then that is the belt. Okay. I did it too tight. All right. And then let me see, working my way down. Ooh, working my way down. I had black gloves. These were gloves that I purchased. But really, any black gloves, you can make black gloves too. This is the armband. It's made using craft foam. I used 2mm thick craft foam for the base. And then 5mm thick for the trim around the edges. And I tried something new and I used fabric because I didn't think, well, I tested the paint and the paint didn't match exactly. So I did fabric here and the paint there, which was pretty difficult with painting the foam. I don't know if I would do it again because we had to tape it, and then with taping it, it took quite a lot. And then also with heat forming it, the fabric didn't stretch at the same rate that the foam did. And then also I did end up getting paint on the fabric. I mean, once you do that, you can't do anything to get it off. And I can't weather it. So there were a lot of things, but I did get my fabric, or I did get this to match that exactly. So that was a positive of it. And then I used the same fabric in order to attach it, and I used Velcro, which this was the first time I've done that. Usually I just like use some other sort of form of attachment. But this was really secure. All my other forms of attachment, like where I have like lacing and stuff like that, usually I have to get unlaced out of it in order to go to the bathroom. But this, super simple. And it's lined in felt so that it does not, I do not sweat. I do not sweat in it. And that is the armbands, gloves. And then I guess the last major part is the body paint, which I'm going to do a tutorial on the makeup, I think, because it wasn't just as simple as just doing body paint. Like on the rest of my body, it was. And I've learned some new techniques, different than what I used when I did the purple Twillick, to get the body paint to stay a little bit better. Also, I think certain colors look better on my skin tone, like painted on me. And I think purple and gray just tend to look good. But yeah, this is the paint I use. Is Mayron. That's the brand that I prefer to use. I've used the other brand. I can't think of what it's called right now.
Ben
Nye, yeah. Thank you. Look at you.
Hey.
I've used Ben Nye before. Ben Nye, I feel, has more color choices, but the consistency is different. Like if I were doing like a painting or blending things together or something like that, I think Ben Nye would be better for that. Like, you know, like that show that had the people doing body paint Wars. I think it's called Paint Wars. Like if I were doing that, I feel like Ben Nye would be better for that, because then you can like draw a whole bunch of stuff with it. This seems to be better for just getting pure color onto you. Like if you need to be gray, for me, I find that Mayron works better. Paradise Makeup. And then this color is in Storm Cloud. So I don't know, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I found this website. I think it's called We Love Colors. We Love Colors, yes. WeLoveColors.com. So you can put in the color of your Mayron Paradise Makeup, which worked out perfectly, like this website. You can put in the color of your makeup, and then they will tell you what color leggings match. So I didn't want to paint my legs gray because I was going to take up too much time, because my legs were going to show up, and I specifically changed my cosplay so that my legs would show up. So I wanted my legs to match the rest of my body so the whole thing looked gray. And they sell different things, like they sell sleeves, like if you want to do the sleeves, but I didn't like the sleeves because I think you have a seam right here with the leggings. Thankfully, they don't have a seam like you know how sometimes, well, I don't know if you know or not, but sometimes stockings will have like a seam right here, like where your underwear would go, because they have a control top. This doesn't have that. It's just seamless, which I was concerned about because I couldn't tell online. So in case you're planning on getting it, it is seamless. And I don't know what type of leggings these are, because I think there were stockings and leggings. But yes, you tell them what color makeup you're using, and they tell you, or they recommend a color of leggings. I ended up buying two because I didn't trust them. And I don't remember if they were right or wrong. I just bought both of them, and I ended up keeping the other one because I waited too late to return it. Adulting is hard. But it's called We Love Colors. And I don't know if it's helpful, but I got a size medium large. Okay, so that's the paint. And then with the paint, there's like a whole thing that I did with my face other than just putting on the paint. Like I did some contour and some highlight and some eyeshadow and some lipstick and all of it. And I don't remember all of it that I did, but I can try to figure out something online. So I believe that's everything for Hades. From the top to the bottom. For the shoes, I wore the same shoes that I wore for Rena Rouge, which makes it easy for packing, because then you only need to pack just a couple pairs of shoes. But it's the same shoes I got from Goodwill, which I need to get replaced, which are combat boots. They're a knee-high. Oh, I should pull up a picture on my phone if I can get a picture. Oh, no. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can find a picture. Oh, look, it's my, no. See profile picture. Okay, cool beans. That's it all together. I don't know if you can even see that. And I ended up wearing this on stage. Like there was a, what's that called? A fashion show. There was a fashion show, a Villain Vogue fashion show at DragonCon. And I have tried, well, I accidentally got into it with Taka, actually. Not Taka, yeah, Taka. I accidentally got into it with Taka. Okay, cool, you can see it. I got into it with Taka, and I wanted to get into it again, so I finally was able to get back into it. And then I wanted to do Hades in it. Lovebug was supposed to do Hades with me, but he didn't. He was supposed to be Hades, now it's supposed to be Hades. But he wanted like actual fire for his hair or something.
I decided not to settle.
So,
I was Hercules though.
He was Hercules.
Pretty good Hercules, I thought.
I'll show. Okay. This was his Hercules. That's us with the mask on. Like, once you put the mask on, then all your makeup gets ruined underneath. So then you can't really do anything else. But look, that's what the wig looks like before it gets messed up. So yeah, that is Hades. I will hopefully, I was trying to look for more pictures, but then I'm like one of those people who's sitting at the table with you and looking at their phone instead of talking to you. So anywho, that's Hades. If you have any questions, I feel like I went over quite a lot. Leave them in the comment section. Hopefully I can get those other tutorials, like if I can figure out how to do it. We're still figuring out this streaming thing. Like, it is nightfall now, and we're finally streaming. So we're still figuring that out. Hopefully we'll get better at it and more consistent. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's everything. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you like this channel and you like to see more videos like this, make sure you hit subscribe and click on the notification bell so you can get a notification when I am streaming and live. That way you can join us live. And then you can ask your questions then. Let's see. I think that's it. I will catch y'all next time. Deuces. I feel like I'm supposed to hit something.
The stop button.
Maybe.